Hello, I'm April from A Matter of Perception, and today I would like to show you the planetary map I've constructed for Missing Danielle Stislicki, missing out of Farmington Hills, Michigan. Here is Danielle's map. What I do is I take the measurement of the planets at the time of a crime, I place them over the location of an abduction or the location of last seen, and those planets in their measurements pull out and offer us the direction that the person can be found in. I would like to show you 5 other cases of disappearances and how they've played out. The first one was missing from Detroit, Michigan. This is Anton Mitchell. And when I pulled up his chart for when he went missing, I seen that the Sun and Venus were conjunct that day. The Sun was in Gemini, it was 11 degrees, and it was conjunct Venus at 9 degrees Gemini. I want to place this measurement over the location that he was last seen. When I do that, here is the location that he was last seen at. This is the Sun, and here is Venus in their measurements at 11 Gemini and Venus at 9 degrees Gemini. I start with true north, so this is 0 up here, and I go all the way around 360, just like the zodiac and all the planets in their orbit. So here is the Sun and Venus on the day that he went missing. For taking a further look at his chart, I want to find the aspects that the Sun is making. So I'm looking for a 90 degree or a 180 degree aspect, and I see that Saturn is measuring 180 degrees away from the Sun and Venus conjunction down here. So now I'm going to put Saturn's measurement over this map. And when I do that, it's pulling out this way. But the Sun, Venus, and Saturn opposition is not the only thing that is being played in here. Jupiter in the sky and Neptune were making an opposition as well. And Jupiter and Neptune by themselves were both making a 90 degree angle to the Sun and Venus-Saturn opposition. So this would be considered a grand square. Now I'm going to place Jupiter and Neptune's measurements over his chart, over his map. And when I do that, here is Neptune and here is Jupiter. So now here are the planets' measurements on the time that he went missing. Anton Mitchell was found here. My vector bearing is less than a quarter of a mile to where he was found. So with these vectors, you have to use this with what you know. If he can't be over here, he was found in a field. This, I believe, is some apartments or something. So it has to be in this area, but this marker is not even half a mile away from where my vector is pulling out to. So this map has to be used with what you guys know and the possibilities of where she can actually be. Another thing that I have found is that when you place the missing person's birth date over the same location that they were missing, it also pulls out. So I would like to show you that now. Here is Deontay's chart at birth. He was born on March 7th. And let me shut this off. And one thing that I forgot to explain is that these measurements, these degrees that the planets are in, this is Mars here, this is Venus, Neptune, and it goes all the way around, the Sun, the Moon, and the planets. But these planets are in degrees. So Mars is 1 degree Capricorn. Now I take these degrees and I use them as miles. So I would draw out radiuses for 1 mile, 5 miles, 11 miles, 4, 29, 69. I would have them all drawn out. And what I found was that Deontay was found 4 miles away, and his Mercury is 4 degrees. So I put a mileage for 4 miles. He also had a 5 degrees moon and at sunrise, and Venus was 5 miles as well. So I had that one in there because it was close. Deontay had let's look at his chart. He had Saturn making a 90-degree square to the Sun, which Pluto finishes a T-square aspect to the Sun and Saturn square. So these are all 90 degrees away from each other with a little bit of orb, but they're 90 degrees. They're 90 degrees in between here, and there's 90 degrees in between here, and these two are making a 180 degree opposition to each other. So I'm going to place these planets over where he went missing. And when I do that, here is Saturn, here is the Sun, and here's Pluto. This measurement would be the finishing touch, the finishing point to make a grand square. So you'll see in Danielle's map, what we do is we put the planet's measurements and then we finish off the geometric shape. So this line would be directly opposing the Sun. So this would be 16 Virgo down here. Now this line is just as important. We have found that people are being located not only on the planet's line itself, but on a finishing point. So this line is dotted because it's finishing. It's not an actual planet, but it's still as important. Now I would like to show you the case of Hannah Graham. And Hannah Graham went missing in Charlottesville, South Carolina, at the University of Virginia. And when we take a look at Hannah Graham's map, oops. Okay, well here's Hannah Graham's map. This is where she went missing from. When I take a look at her chart, I see that I'm taking a look. Here's the moon again, right? The moon was making a 180 degree opposition to Saturn. Not only that, but Jupiter is coming in here making a T-square. So now Jupiter is 90 degrees away from the moon, and it's 90 degrees away from Saturn. I wanted to put these measurements of these planets over where she was last seen. And when I do that, here is, where's the moon? The moon is here, Jupiter is here, and Saturn is here. And as you can see, Saturn's measurement is pulling right out to where her remains were recovered. Again, this is not even further than a mile. So Saturn is offering the direction of which Hannah Graham's remains were recovered. This is called the ascendant. And this ascendant is what is rising over the horizon, over the eastmost part of the horizon. So Earth is in the center, and the zodiac is 360 degrees around Earth. The planets are in their orbit, measuring in the zodiac, and right at the east point of the horizon, there's a zodiac sign rising, and it was 11 degrees Cancer. This 11 degrees, also with Pluto at 11 degrees, was offering the 11 degrees. She was found 10 miles, and the 11 degrees, do I have this on here? It should be here, is not too far from it. So the 11 degree measurement is also giving us a close distance of where Hannah Graham's remains would be found. The next case that I have is Vanessa Marcotte. Her and both Karina Vetrano were murdered around the same time when they were out running. I would like to show you how their planets over where they went missing pulled out. Here this one is labeled. So here we have the planet's measurement at the time of crime over Marcotte's residence to her remains. So this is where she was last seen. In her chart, Pluto and the moon are square each other. This is again 90 degrees. Uranus is a little wide, but it's in here making this T-square aspect. She was found right over here. I believe it's on this side of this road. I put it in the center, but I believe she was right here, and Uranus is pulling right out to where she could be found. When I put her birth chart over the location of her house, just give me one moment here to find the aspect that worked. these are all the aspects that were in her birth chart at the time. So there is going to be a few other aspects that you're going to have to work with, but this is the one that provided where she was. This is her Venus, and her Saturn and Neptune were opposing each other in the sky when she was born. I've drawn out the other points to finish the geometric square. She was found on the vector that would make a T-square aspect to her Saturn-Neptune-Venus opposition. And this is also right next to where she was found, where she was recovered. Not too far off. With Katrina, this is her birth chart over her resonance now. So she had a Pluto and Mercury square. These two were 90 degrees away when she was born. She was found on the vector that was creating a T-square aspect to her Mercury and Pluto, right over here. These two should be dotted. These would be imaginary points that would finish this grand square. Now, one thing that I see with Katrina is that Katrina has a Mercury and a Pluto square. Danielle has in her birth chart, this is her birth chart, she has a Mercury and Pluto square. So I've added that in here. So when you go to Danielle's page on our website at matterofperception.com, she has her own page in Unsolved Cases. You can go to her map right here from the page. I have her chart, what was going on at the time of her crime, and what was going on when she was born. I have all the aspects listed. And her map should be here. I'm not sure why it's not, but after this video, it will be on there. It'll have this map, and you can come in here and you can turn all these aspects on or off, and you can look at them one by one so you're not overwhelmed. But this is her Mercury-Pluto aspect that was going on at birth. I'm not familiar with the area. I do not know locations of where it would be possible for her to be at. So this map again has to be used with law enforcement and investigators to work with what they know to maybe confirm a spot or check over here and use this with what they know. I'm confident that she will be found on one of these lines. I have been doing a case study from the point of abduction to the point of remains, and I have found that the planets are offering the direction. If they are not exactly on it, they are not far off. So this is her Mercury and Pluto conjunctions. These lines are just as important as the planet's measurement lines. She has more aspects on here. This would be her, let me pull up her chart actually. Okay, this is when she went missing. I see that. So the red lines are when this is her birth chart. This is her disappearance chart. So those lines will be in red. And here are radiuses for distance. Those are the degrees I was talking about. I put on the furthest one was 24 because her Venus, the day that she went missing, was 24. So I put 24 miles in here, and that's the furthest I went. So now I'm looking at aspects. And I see this tight moon and Pluto right here. And it is squaring Uranus and Jupiter. So let me turn that one on. And that would be her Moon, Venus, Pluto, Jupiter, Uranus, T-square. So I am going to leave this aspect on when I sign out of here. And this one will be the one that pops up when you open up the map. And I'm going to leave this one on because this one to me is the strongest aspect that I see going on. This Moon and Pluto is very tight. When I've seen this before, they are either going to be on this measurement or making a 90 degree away from it or an opposition. There's also trines that I have not in my cases. I believe, let me show you a trine real quick. Hannah Graham. She was found on the T-square, so this is 90 degrees and 90 degrees. But also in her chart, when she went missing, the ascendant that I was talking about that gave the 11 miles, this measurement itself looks like this. In over her where she went missing. So if I turn off the planets and I just keep the ascendant on and I put the vector, this is the exact factual measurement where she was found. In between here is 120. That is a trine aspect. And with a trine, when you finish this off, if I were to make an imaginary point here to finish this off, it would be 120 degrees, 120 degrees, and 120 degrees. That is what we work with. We work with 90 degrees, 180, 120, and there's some instances where we work with a 60-degree angle. They are just, it is not astrology, it's where the planets are located in their orbit and what they are doing to us on Earth. After doing this and after studying this, I am confident to say and to show other people that this can be a useful tool to finding their missing loved one. I hope for the best in this case. I hope for the best in this case. I hope that she is found safely, and I hope that this map can be used to find her. So again, thank you for watching this video. Her site will be updated with the map, the interactive map, and if you have any questions, we are here. Thanks.